So today I'm going to be taking you through the process of designing a CNC machine. This is the one that I built based off of a YouTube video that I will link below. So it's not entirely my own design, but this CAD file is all my design based off of what I saw someone else do and my best approximation of something that I knew worked. Because I'm not an expert on CNC machines, but I knew that there was this example that I could base my own ideas off of, and well, let's hope it works. So here is the most recent version of my design, and fundamentally it's a series of 4x4s, which are about 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches by different lengths. So this one is 18 inches long and this one is 23.75 inches long. And these form the base of our CNC machine. And I know I wanted something that was very secure, that'd be able to prevent anything from shaking, and would mean that it had a solid base. I then used the same material, but in 24-inch length, as the two upward posts, and these would be the main structure for supporting the side-to-side and up and down movement. So I modeled that. Then I grabbed these drawer slides, which I have a variety of types that they're mostly a stand-in. I ended up using a drawer slide very similar to these in a lot of my designs, in the actual design that I ended up building. But for the most part, these are just a stand-in to serve as proof of concept for, okay, we can fit a drawer slide there, and we can fit a build plate on top of those drawer slides, as well as over here. So I ended up using these drawer slides that I imported from Fusion 360, which you can get right from this Insert McMaster Car component page, and they have a whole variety of components, including these motors. It was incredibly helpful throughout the design process, especially as a first-time user of the software. So I have this frame, and I have the drawer slides in, and I have this modeled. I modeled the holes that would go through for each of the drive shafts, which aren't modeled. That's because I'm not really an expert on Fusion 360, but what I did model was everything else to do with the movement system. So we have the motor, we have a series of blocks that allow me to have space for the linkage between the motor and the drive shaft, holes all the way through, and then advice that I got from the YouTube video that I based this all off of is these pieces that will eventually hold the ball bearings. What he did was he built the ball bearings into the frame, but he recommended if you build the ball bearings into this movable plate, it allows for much easier aligning of the drive shaft, because you don't have to just do perfect guesswork with the hole originally. You can put the ball bearing in those little wooden plates and then move it around in the actual physical version until it's perfectly aligned. So I basically replicated that a few times. So we have the first movement system, which is just based on this original base with a wooden block a wooden plate that will move forward and backward on these drawer slides based off of the rotational movement provided by this motor, which will spin a drive shaft, which will basically push this forward and backwards. And that same principle is being used in every direction. And this is effectively what we're going to be building over this few episode series. And we have a similar set of systems for this left and right and for the up and down, and it's all more or less the same. In the actual version, we have a wooden block modeled across here, but I didn't put that in this CAD model because I wasn't exactly sure where it should go, and that was a decision that I made ad hoc during the actual design. In the version of this that is uploaded on the website, everything is modeled in completely, but this is the working model that I've been using throughout the build process. And effectively, it's the same movement system for forward, back, left, right, and up and down, relying on this rotational movement and these motor coupling holding things that effectively just make it much easier to set up, and a drive shaft that goes across here that moves the plate. Then there's a few other bits and bobs modeled on that I put on ad hoc that allows me to press the buttons which serve as limit switches, but for the most part, this is the design that I'll be taking you through how to build. And this is a working CNC machine that you can build in your apartment, and it works. And that's all. Thank you so much for listening to this first episode. Starting next time, I'll be taking you through the actual process of building this step by step, and there will be a guide posted that you can follow along with. That is just a physical written out step by step, but the videos can serve as a way of saying, okay, I see that step, I'm confused how it's done, let's watch a video to actually understand it. So, thank you so much for listening. I hope you all have a great day. Goodbye.